Welcome to Assembly Calendar. I'm Mike Friesen, and with us for our program today, Assemblyman Bob Oaks. Bob Oaks represents the 130th Assembly District. That's a district that includes Wayne County, Cayuga County, and Oswego County. We want to thank you folks all throughout the region for joining us for our program today. Bob Oaks, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Mike.
Must be kind of busy with all that's going on around the district with all that attention focused on Lake Ontario.
It is, and you mentioned those three counties. All three of those counties run right along the southern border up into the eastern border of Lake Ontario, and it's tough times, Mike. We are at a point where the lake is at the highest it's been in nearly 40 plus years, and there is uncertainty. There's not an opportunity right now for the lake to recede. One, we've been getting a lot of rain, but also we have an opportunity to let water out downriver. But that's not happening because they have high water there. And it's put a lot of property of homeowners, of business owners in peril. And a lot of it is sitting there waiting as people have just watched the waters increase. It's not just on Lake Ontario, obviously. It's the bays that surround it. Are also increasing. Just yesterday, the first I've seen, but of a home going into the water because of the underpinnings taken out from it. And we're a strong storm away from a clear disaster that we're going to have to be dealing with. And all of this comes at the time when Plan 2014, a proposal that was put out by the International Joint Commission, the IJC, to what they said was focused on trying to improve the environmental surrounding health of the lake and the surrounding marshes and areas of the lake. Those of us who looked at that proposal over the last several years, we've been writing to Governor Cuomo to come out against this plan. We've been pushing the IJC, testified at hearings and saying, if you want to allow the waters to go to higher highs at some years and lower lows, it's going to have damaging economic effects on our people, and it's going to impact lives. And here we are today, the first year of this plan. The Obama administration signed off on it in December 2016. The plan's implemented just as we go into 2017. Now we have a confluence of a couple things, an extremely wet April, and now into May, it seems like it's rained almost every day. You have the upper Great Lakes high and the water flowing down, and there's a control program as a part of the plan of managing the lake. And under the old plan, it kind of kept it in here. Under this plan, it allows it to go here. So even though we're in this condition today, it's okay as a part of the new plan. Now, it isn't like it's going to be every year. It's cyclical in high water and low water and whatever, but we're going to see some other years, Mike, the docks that have water over the top of them today may have mud underneath them other years. And so economically, this is something that is going to have a very detrimental effect and is having a very detrimental effect on our region.
So you're saying the way the plan is written and implemented right now, the way the waters are is okay according to the commission who developed this plan?
It's just now, at this point of the highest ever, it's just now hitting a trigger point that would say, okay, we won't let it flow naturally. We will start to use some triggers and let some more water out. We're saying, unbelievable. I mean,
you're seeing a house go out into the water, and it's okay.
That's what. And Mike, I've called this government at its worst because the Plan 2014. Somebody who you could say, I don't think we ought to be managing things. Nature ought to take its course. We're affecting the environment. That's one opportunity. But we've built dams over the years.
Sure.
We've done things. Once we've done that, and we've said over the last 50 to 60 years, we've said to people, build here, do this. This is the way it's going to be. We're going to keep it here. Now, all of a sudden, it was like, well, let's change this, and we're going to let it go here. And the effects that we thought would happen sometime in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years, first year, bang, we've got it. Now, Governor Cuomo came out a little over a week ago and said, I'm against this plan. Well, the plan, it's a signed plan with Canada. It's under a treaty. It's an agreement. You can't, we could have blocked it before, I believe, if the governor had come out strongly against this. He did not. And so here we stand today. Is Plan 2014 the total reason that we're in the condition we are? No, we've had floods before under the prior plans. But this is looked at, this may be at a sustained level through May into June. And if it's that long, sometime we're going to get a storm that's going to cause even greater damage. Of course, we also have an extreme level work, waves keep coming under land as they lap up. Land keeps falling into the lake because of that breakdown. So we've had that type of loss of property. We have basements flooded. Sodas Point is low. Its wastewater treatment plant is low. So I was there as recently as Sunday. The Loop area where the bay comes out, there's extreme problems there. Lake Ontario is coming close to homes that are out many feet away, but the lake keeps getting bigger as it gets deeper. And again, we haven't seen this since the 70s, and now in the 70s it was there and then receded. We're looking where this could stay this way for many weeks, and it's a loss of summer. I'm hearing from marinas, they can't service the people who would use their marina. Boats aren't going in the water. Businesses are being affected. The whole recreation season this summer is imperiled right now.
So there's a double, triple whammy. You're in emergency mode. I won't say crisis mode yet, but you're looking at the very potential of that. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. But now, with the situation being what it is there any chance that there might be a rewrite of this plan to maybe change things a little bit? I know it's an international agreement and all, but surely people would look at what's going on in your communities and say, maybe we need to make an adjustment, or no?
We have a different president than we had before when the plan was agreed to. We have the congressional delegation that represents along the lake. Clearly, Congressman Collins and Katko have been very strong. They've already put in their request to the Trump administration to relook at this. The governor is saying now that he is not in favor of it continuing on this way. And so certainly those efforts are happening. I'm supposed to speak with Congressman Katko today specifically about water. And so those are, I've already been at Sodas Point with him and looking at it. But again, this just doesn't happen automatically. Now, I'll give the governor credit in that he sent out some of his top disaster preparedness people, Homeland Security individuals, one of his deputy directors of the DEC, and things like, okay, we'll expedite permitting for you. If there's some mitigation thing you want to do, we'll do that. They have called in National Guard and some of the things to help people with sandbagging and trying to do things to protect their property. So those things are happening. We asked him, I joined with several of my assembly colleagues who represent districts along the south shore of Lake Ontario. We asked him a 5-point plan. Those were some of them. Come out against Plan 2014. And then the other issue is mitigation things. What can you do to protect us long term, and how can you protect us immediately? And some of those things are very difficult. The problem is, Mike, they don't see the water as receding. They see it actually still coming up even more in the upcoming weeks, because even if it stops raining, there's still water coming from all those other lands that are in the Lake Ontario watershed.
Well, we're going to be keeping our eye on this with you. I'm sure we'll be talking about it quite a lot in upcoming programs. I could see this being something that, besides the immediacy of what's going on there now with the water, trying to get the plan changed or adapted in some way, we'll be talking about it down the road.
That's why we were so passionate leading up to this, and now here we are.
In our last program, we talked some about the passage of the New York State budget and its impact on the folks that you represent, the folks that are watching this program right now. There seems to be some questions, though, about this budget. Like trying to understand where all the monies are, or the monies that are in the budget, how they're designated. Apparently, it's not as clear as you might expect it should be.
Well, Mike, we have a $153 billion budget. That's over $7,600 for every man, woman, and child in New York State. It's a plan of how to spend the resources to fund important things like education, health care, transportation, fix our roads, all of those types of things. But in addition, there's money in there that's not designated. That the governor actually has a great deal of control and determination over where those dollars go, and some of that is also certainly within the majorities of the houses of trying to direct dollars. One of our major concerns within that, Mike, is how are those decisions made? Shouldn't the taxpayers who are funding those dollars be able to know, well, who's requesting those dollars for that project, and where is that money going, why, and whatever. What we've seen, you and I have been here a number of years more than many people.
Yeah, a long time. Okay, we get it.
And within that, we've seen a number of legislators get in trouble.
Right.
And we've seen them be charged with misconduct. We've seen them head off to prison, some of them. Mm-hmm. In almost every case, it's been around the misuse of dollars that are taxpayer dollars, and either using those directly themselves or funneling them to some place that helps their family, or a kickback for that, whatever. And we've seen some of that's been direct and some of that's been kind of indirect. All we're asking for, and I have a bill that our conference is 100% in favor of, that would just provide for those monies and the decisions that the governor's making and legislators are making, that there be some light shed on that, so that we can feel confident that those dollars are being invested in an appropriate way. And so that, and very honestly, we've had a lot of problem with economic development dollars in the state, dollars that the governor is touting going to programs, and yet several of his people and people connected to his administration are also right now in the midst of being charged and are going to have to go through a court case on schemes to line their pockets. And so we need more transparency as we go forward.
All right. Well, we're going to be looking at that too and see if there's any changes on that particular front. We'll be talking with you about that. If you folks watching this program want to know how you can reach out to your representative, maybe you've got issues with waters lapping at your front door, you can contact Bob Oaks at his office in Lyons. Dial 946-5166. You can find him on Facebook at Assemblyman Oaks, or email oaksr@nyassembly.gov. Bob Oaks, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you folks too for spending your time, and we'll hope to see you soon for our next edition of Assembly Calendar.